All right, welcome one and all to the Cosmic Comic Nation, powered by Comic-Con Radio. I'm your host, Tom Torme. You may know my guest from his commercial campaigns from everything from Dixie Cups to Capital One. You may also recognize him from the Transformers Cyberverse series, which ran on Cartoon Network from 2018 to 2021. And, there he is right there. There's Hot Rod right there. Where he provided the voice of Hot Rod, one of my favorite Transformers characters. And I think the entire series is now streaming on Netflix. So if you didn't catch it when it was on air, now's a perfect opportunity to catch up on it. He's also one half of the American retro band and songwriting duo Baby Chemist. Please welcome to the Cosmic Comic Nation, Mr. Travis Artz. Thank you, Travis, for joining us. How are you today?
Tom, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I am such a big fan of your channel, your TikTok, on Instagram, and I'm a big fan of you. So thanks for having me. This is a real treat.
You have just made my day. So thank you very much. That is so cool. And I'm so happy that you agreed to come on the show. I really am, as I said, a big fan of your work. And I really am curious because are you a native New Yorker? Because I know you currently live in New York.
That's right. I'm originally from New Jersey. Shout out Bayonne, New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah. And but I've been in New York for, oh my gosh, like 14 years. Maybe 15, something like that. Yeah, I came here for school, and then I've just been here ever since. Yeah.
Is that what drew you to the Big Apple to come for school?
Yeah.
Because I know you have an excellent and a long career now in acting. How did that start? How did you get into acting?
I'm going to tell my manager that you said excellent and long career. I think he'll.
Oh yeah, listen. IMDb. I went to your Travis Artz.
By the way, someone said I had an excellent and long career, so I just want to let you know.
Going well.
Thank you. Sorry, what was the question?
Just acting in general. How did you find I'm not in the career myself, so I'll say the acting bug. How'd you get bitten by the acting bug?
You know, I have to give a lot of credit to my mom. She put me in a lot of classes growing up. I actually originally kind of started out dancing, and I did that for I'm technically still am. I dance from time to time if the show calls for it. But I started dance classes when I was really young, jazz, tap, ballet. Kind of did that all throughout up until very seriously until a little bit after college. Again, I still do it, but I'd say my focus is shifted here and there. So that kind of started me on my journey. I did some acting classes, started doing plays in high school. The first show I ever did was, I think it was Smokey Joe's Cafe, that or Chorus Line. But then I, did a bunch of shows in high school, and realized I wanted to do it long term. And then I started, thinking about schools, and then came here for drama school. Now here I am.
Well, you live in the dream, right? I mean, that's the most important thing. And like you said, you had that support at home, and that's crucial. And I've spoken to a few people so far, and that is generally a recurring theme, that people are finding that not only pursuing their passion is something they can do, but it's something that their families wanted for them as well. So I'm glad to hear that your mother's signing up for the courses. And I think we as fans are glad that she did it too. So
thanks, Mom.
So
So I was going to add something. It's been interesting kind of ending up in this voiceover track. Because you were saying how, when did you realize you wanted to do this?
Right.
It's interesting now going back, and because I mean, before acting, before dance, before music, or anything, I was a cartoons and comic books person. Like, it was big in my family. It was like passed down to me. That was as well. And so I sort of have realized, like, the voiceover, me getting into the voiceover part of the industry, that it was kind of my dream before I knew it was my dream. Being into that stuff so much and loving so many animated shows, it makes sense that I ended up on this path. So in a sense, that was also kind of a start for me as well.
So how if you maybe fill in or connect the dots here. So a song and dance man.
Yes.
ending up on Transformers Cyberverse.
Hmm.
How in the world did that happen? How did you get involved with the show?
So out of school, ultimately I got an appointment from my agents uh, to audition for the show. Is the
Oh,
short answer. Long answer. Out of school, I had some managers that I was with at the time that I signed with out of school. Uh, they recommended this on-camera commercial class run by these two casting directors. The class is called Brooke and Mary. Um, and at the end of that class, they invite agents to come and watch people, kind of watch their progress, watch them at
yeah.
the end of this however long
I,
workshop.
this sounds a lot similar to like in sports, recruiting from the young teams and then going up to the NBA or.
That's a great comparison.
Okay.
Yeah. So I met an agent at my current voiceover agent's uh, uh, agency, Stewart Talent. That's who I work with for voiceover now. I met with an on-camera commercial agent at that time. I signed with them. I was also taking classes with this fantastic casting director named Andy Roth for voiceover, which was really my first kind of foray into doing voiceover, learning about voiceover. I had done some kind of student projects and stuff in college, but this was my first real effort into
Mhm.
doing it and learning about it. His class is amazing. I then I set up an appointment to meet with the voiceover department of that same agency. Told them I was taking classes, and within my first year, I booked a Sprint commercial. So that was my first professional voiceover gig. Was a commercial for Sprint, and then just over the years, I booked
Right.
some things here and there, in addition to the other jobs that I did in theater, TV, or on camera stuff. And then I think I looked at this recently. About 7 years in, I got this audition for Transformer Cyberverse. Um, there's a longer story to this too, but I mean, I'll break here. But auditioned, and then ultimately got the part.
Going in
Yeah.
to audition for Transformers Cyberverse, did you know what character you were going for? Were you familiar with the property at all?
Yes. So before Transformer Cyberverse, I got called in for another show of theirs called Rescue Bots Academy.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Um, and there's a funny thing about that later too. But I went in for that. Felt like I had a great audition. I felt really good about it. Um, didn't hear anything back, and ultimately, I didn't get anything on that show. But soon after, the same casting director called me back for Transformer Cyberverse. So I initially was called in for the roles of Hot Rod, and I didn't remember this until I looked it back up. Soundwave
Oh,
and Teletron X. So while we're at it, I'll just get into the story. I went in, and this was in 2017. Some in-person auditions were still happening. So I went
mhm.
into into a casting office, into the booth, um, and did not feel like I had a great audition. I went in, I prepared it. I went in, and just I felt like I wasn't getting a great grasp on anything, with the exception of Hot Rod. I think, and obviously that
Right,
makes
right.
sense now. I did the roles that I was initially called in for, and the casting director gave me a bunch of other ones I could go out, look them over, and come back in and read for those as well. And same thing, I was just not. I felt. I mean, who know? I have no idea how I actually was
Mhm.
perceived for everything, but I felt I didn't have a great handle on it on a whole for the characters that I was given. So I walked away from that being really disappointed in myself. I was. I mean, I remember it. I remember the walk home because, like I mentioned, being into these kind of properties and fandoms since I was so young. This was something this is the kind of thing that I really wanted to be doing, and ultimately wanted to get involved with a something like Transformers. So I walk away from that not feeling great, and maybe feeling like I burned, not burned, but maybe damaged a possible connection with a casting director too. So 3 weeks later, I'm having lunch before one of my jobs, and I get a call from my agent, and he says, "Hey, congratulations, you got Transformers, you got the role of Hot Rod." And I was very surprised,
Yeah, yeah.
to say the least. So, and then, yeah, and that was it. So, it just goes to show you never know.
Right. That has to be an amazing feeling to kind of go from that destitute, man, I burned my bridges, I burned my connection, to no, you nailed it actually. And yeah,
at least one role.
Well,
that's all it took.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you had asked, did I have, was I familiar with Transformers before?
Right.
So one of my favorite shows growing up, I was quite young when it came out, but it was very formative. I certainly remember watching it and being a big fan of it. Was Beast Wars. I was 7 years old when it came out. And I love that show. So that was my introduction and my main end to the franchise.
Solid entry.
Oh yeah, solid, absolutely.
And I saw you recently posted a picture of I think it was Bumblebee right alongside Cheetor, right?
Yes, yes.
2/3 of Team Hot Rod.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, they're making their way to the big screen.
That's right.
And so, I mean, that's got to be an amazing feeling. And I'm sure the fandom is as welcoming to you as you are to them, because I did have an opportunity to meet you at a convention a while back, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But one of the things, and I'll come back to in a second. One of the things that I thought was really exciting, and I just can't imagine just the exhilaration it must feel to then voice this character, hit a store, and see children taking these toys off the shelf. And I know you had a mission to find Hot Rod.
That's right. And you know what's funny? And I to be fair, I started looking pretty late.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I waited so long, but it was, I think, almost when the show was over, I was like, I should really go out and get my figure. I don't know why I waited so long, but I think by that time, the line maybe started. I still saw Cyberverse figures in stores quite a bit, but I, to this day, have not found one of my figures in a store. And by this time now, it makes sense, because that's now they're doing, obviously, Earthspark, and you still see some Cyberverse figures, but yeah, I haven't found one in person, but I have had a friend gift one to me, because I had that search series up, and she got this for me, my friend Amara.
Very cool.
And I've also ordered some online as well. So I've got this guy too.
Oh,
it has the color change.
Love those repaints.
Oh, love them. Yeah, and the fun thing about that redesign too is I got to do a different voice for the character. They wanted something a little grittier, because this character, he goes through a certain change. He falls in some energon waste and comes out with this different look. So they kind of wanted a persona and a voice to match that. So they wanted something a little grittier. So
nice, beautiful. Do you still keep in touch now? How did the recording process go? Since I'm going to guess some of this was during or post lockdown stuff. Were you going into the studio to record, or you were doing this from a personal setup at home or somewhere else?
For me, it was all in person. The only point that happened during lockdown was actually kind of at the very beginning of lockdown, maybe like the second or third month. And even when you're going in person with voiceover, it's you have the benefit of being alone in a booth, and they were all very safe, masked, and the engineers and everyone is in the other room. Some people were calling in remotely, so that was that I felt okay with that. But that was, I think, just for the last special was the only thing
Okay.
that everything before that was pre-COVID, pre-lockdown. Yeah.
Was it an
And
ensemble recording or
sorry.
was it an ensemble recording? Were you recording? Okay.
No, all individual. Yeah, we
Right.
all went in individually, and it's funny. There's most of the actors that I've met from the show, I've met after the fact, from trying to pull people in
Right.
to do cons, or if they're calling me to do stuff. Um, Most of the
That's gotta be
time,
a surreal feeling to kind of know that you are sharing a scene with someone, but not acting alongside them.
yeah, it's really funny.
Right.
So I would go in, I'd have the script, and essentially I would do 3 reads of one line. Uh, Maybe they would have a note and give me some direction. I would do that again. And I think in a lot of instances, unless it changed from someone else's read, they would star their favorite take
Mhm.
right there. And I'm sure that changes as people come in and out. But yeah, that would be it. And then they line it all up. Yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah, we'll talk about the cons a little bit, but in terms of other voice actors, have you had a chance to interact with other actors at these cons that have played? For example, like have you ever run into Judd Nelson? I believe he's voiced Hot Rod, I believe, on several occasions in the
He
movie,
has.
and then I believe on Transformers, the animated series. I believe he voiced him on.
That's right. Transformers animated, and I think the Prime Wars trilogy, I think
Oh,
maybe he did it, or Power of the Primes,
okay.
something like that. Yeah, but yes, definitely animated and the G1 movie. I've never met Judd. I would love to someday. I was a Judd Nelson fan
Right. Yeah.
before knowing about him doing Hot Rod. So and funny little connection, not with him personally, but I used to do this show off Broadway called Awesome 80s Prom, and it
Mm,
was this immersive interactive show where the actors pretend they're at a prom in the 80s and they play all of these like John Hughes archetypes. I covered several roles. So the main role I would cover was Michael J. Fox's character from um,
Family
oh,
Ties.
Family Ties,
Uh,
exactly.
yep.
And then I kind of
I
played a
love
nerd.
Steve Keaton.
Yes, yes, yeah. And then I would play a nerdy character sometimes, and then once I covered this character named Fender, which was supposed to be a takeoff of Bender from Breakfast Club,
Right. That's good.
but before Transformers. So that was even before all of that.
It's
So another
cosmic. It's a
it
cosmic connection, right?
meant to happen. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, but I've got a chance to meet some, yeah, doing these cons, some
Yeah.
cool voiceover actors and celebrities from some of my favorite sci-fi movies. Michael Biehn was at WinterCon, the one where I met you,
Yes. Yes.
from Aliens, and yeah, it's been pretty cool.
Yeah. Those. I mean, so in terms of just interacting not only with other voice actors and other actors like Michael Biehn, but how's that experience been for you? Because I know this on March 10th to the 12th, you're going to be at TFCon. Is that what is
That's
it?
right, TFCon. Yeah,
TFCon in Los Angeles.
that's
And
right. Yeah, in Burbank, California. Yeah,
okay.
the cons have been great. They've been so fun.
Mhm.
It's been, it's been my first face-to-face interaction with fans. I've really just started doing it within the past year and a half, maybe less. That first one was really cool, which was WinterCon.
Right.
It was neat to see, because unless it's like TFCon, which I'm about to do, you never know, who's one going to be a Transformers fan at these conventions, because they're broad conventions.
That
They're
is
just
true.
for generally
Right.
comics and movies, sci-fi fans. So it's nice to see people who purposely came out to see us.
Mhm.
That's really cool. One, and then also what's really funny is the people who stumble on us. That happened at a con. Well, it's happened at a few of the cons, but I just did Big Apple Con on near 34th Street, and it was such a treat to see kids walk by and say, "Hey, oh, I know this show. I watched this show," and saying moments from some of the 8x10 stills we have, and like the lore behind the characters and the story. So that's on both fronts. That's been a really great experience.
I'm sure, and like you said, it's going to be even cooler when you go to TFCon. You're going to have people who specifically are there for Transformers, so you know what you're in for, and they know what they're in for too. That's got to be an amazing experience.
Yeah, and this is my first one. I've never done a Transformers specific
Oh
convention
wow!
before, so I'm intrigued. I
I
can't wait to see what happens.
I
And
believe there's a handful, right? There's a handful that go on. Generally, unfortunately, not too much here on, at least not in the tri-state area. So
yeah,
you're making the flight all the way across the sea to shining sea to go to this. That's pretty cool.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, my partner's family is in California, so we thought, oh, maybe we can make a trip out of it. So she might come out too. We might visit her family, and then kind of figured, oh, we'll work that around. Doing
Right, right.
TFCon is kind of perfect.
A working vacation kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
that's awesome. I mean, I think they are. Anyone who meets you is definitely in for a treat because, as we talked about before we went on air, that I had gone to WinterCon,
Yes.
which is in Queens, New York, which is where I'm
Yes.
from. And I was thrilled to see you there. I was with my children. I was my oldest had wandered off, but my little guy was with me. And I saw you, and I went over to your table, and in my bewilderment, you had recognized me from my social media account, which is Cosmic Comic History. I'll cheap plug myself. Um, and that was truly really one of the highlights. I had just started to kind of gain some momentum, the account, and I remember actually saying to my son, "We have to walk away for a second because I needed to not freak out. I needed to
Uh,
compose myself." And I came back, and you were so lovely, you were so kind, and it was really one of the absolute highlights of not only just my life, but definitely one of the highlights of going to any convention. So that was pretty cool. So thank you very much for that.
Same here. Same
Yeah.
here. Like I said, I'm a fan of yours. I love your page. I learn a lot of stuff. It's a really really cool page that you have. So I was excited to meet you.
Well, that's so kind of you. So on top of uh, Transformers conventions and on top of comic culture conventions, people can get a chance to see you as one half of Baby Chemist.
That's right, and that is my partner, Katie Lee Hill, right there. Also a fantastic actor. If you watch M. Night Shyamalan's Servant, she is on it. If you watch, oh my gosh, Tales of the City, New Amsterdam, that was on NBC, and other. Fleischman is in Trouble. Lots of stuff. Incredible actor, incredible singer. Yeah, and we
Oh,
have,
yes. Yeah, I mean,
and we have.
not only are you two gifted actors, exactly. You're incredible songwriters, incredible singers. So,
Thank you so much.
Baby Chemist. If we wanted to hear Baby Chemist, where should we turn to?
You can go to Spotify, Apple Music, and pretty much anywhere you listen to music. We're on SoundCloud. Yeah.
I was listening to it earlier today, and I will tell you that one of the coolest things was that the kind of diversity in style, where
Thanks.
one song was folky, where
Yeah.
another song was more towards the rock side, and you guys do have just this wide range. I'm certainly no music critic, but I still listen to the same replacement Paul Westerberg albums that I've been listening to since
I love the Replacements.
Oh, it's my favorite band.
Yeah.
I see the Replacements. People go, "Who?" I mean,
I
geez.
love the Replacements.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, I knew it. I knew you're good people, Travis. And I'll tell you, I was actually when I was listening to it, kind of made me think of some of the more folky kind of Replacement songs.
Oh,
And
nice.
I'm not sure if I'm
Nice.
describing that properly. I don't know if folky's the right word.
Yeah, no, it's definitely in there. Yeah.
Oh,
And I was just gonna say, Tim's one of my favorite albums.
oh yeah,
I love
Replacements.
them.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Androgynous was, I think that's on there. But
Yeah.
oh, look at that. Maybe I was able to, maybe the
See?
inspiration is there, left of the
Look at
dial a
that.
little bit, you know?
Yep.
Very good. I mean, I really enjoyed it. And I definitely, do you tour together? When you go to cons, have you considered like because I know some of these cons have these after hours events where you have really like comic culture kind of bands and artists, but everything from the Cybertronic Spree to Word Burglar. And have you ever considered the two of you kind of doing that as well?
I haven't, but that's a really interesting prospect. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll have to think about that. That's cool. Yeah, and especially now that I've laid the groundwork with these cons.
Correct,
Yeah,
right.
maybe next time around, like, hey, you want a band to play? We could do some stuff. I was literally thinking of Cybertronic Spree when you started saying that. They're super fun. I
Oh,
haven't seen them live before, but like I've just followed them here and there. They're really cool.
I
But
had I
might
had a
be onto
chance to see them
something.
in New York. I had a chance to see them in New York.
Was
Uh,
Le Poisson Rouge?
wait, I'm sorry.
Like off of was it off of Washington Square Park?
Yeah, it was a yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay. I was gonna go, but I ended up being busy that night. Yeah, I
Oh,
know
that's yeah, yeah. Oh,
that's really funny.
that's funny. How amazing would it have been if we were in the same
Yeah,
place at the same time all those years
that
ago?
would have been really funny. Yeah, but
I got to
I
tell you,
was
Cybertronic Spree. It was a great show. They're a lot of fun.
they're great. For
Yeah.
just from what I've seen online, they're
Oh
fantastic.
yeah.
And yeah, and the costumes obviously are
Oh my god.
stellar.
Unbelievable. Um, but and the Word Burglar opened for them, and I
Cool.
actually fell in love with him because again, that not only is his music great, but he's got that comic culture connection. And
It's nice.
how blessed am I? Not only do I have people like yourself on the show, but he actually has agreed. He's going to be on the show in a few weeks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
Maybe
surprising.
you want to come on? That'd be awesome too.
All right. I'll just stop in and say hi.
Yeah. Uh, so are you touring together? Do you do this?
We we mostly only play New York tri-state area, especially yeah, probably especially spring and summer roll around. We'll probably probably try to do some more stuff. We did we played the newish park now, Little Island, which is off the water, kind of like on 14th Street. It's just kind of
Oh,
like elevated on
yes.
the water like structure, but they have these really great outdoor music spaces there, and
Wow.
we did some shows there.
Now,
So
am I was I reading correctly? Did you play Times Square?
that's right. Yes, actually, that might even be more recent. Yeah, we did a concert. Yes, in Times Square. Yeah, there's an organization called Times Square Alliance
Hmm.
that puts on performances and concerts there, and yeah,
And what
they
was that experience like? Just
wow, yeah, it was great. It was really fun.
did you,
There's a lot coming at you, lights, sounds,
right.
and so you're trying just to kind of focus and play through, and it was really cool. It was really
You
fun.
ever think back to yourself maybe 15 years ago and think, what if 15 year ago Travis had saw what current Travis is doing and how impressed he would be?
I try to keep that perspective, on, yeah, yeah, I do,
Yeah,
and it's pretty neat. And
that's gotta
yeah,
be
thinking
correct.
about Transformers too.
Mhm.
Yeah, if 7-year-old me could
Right.
see that, hear that, yeah, it'd be a big deal.
So,
Yeah.
what kind of shows? Because I know you're also a cartoon and comic book enthusiast. What kind of cartoons? Now you mentioned Beast Wars before. What other kind of cartoons and comic books kind of make it onto your list?
Cartoon wise, I was a big Nickelodeon kid,
Oh,
so I watched Rugrats, Rocko's Modern Life. My gosh, Real Monsters as a kid, Powerpuff Girls. I was a huge Simpsons fan for
okay.
the longest time. I am,
Yeah,
uh,
I like how most Simpson fans still have to state that where they were and they still are. Just for
you
the record,
got
because
you
there aren't
caught me.
many people left. I like that you did that.
You know.
Yeah.
Um, you caught me. Let's see. Oh my gosh. I mean, I watched so much TV as a kid. um,
How? Oh,
I
sorry.
just started rewatching Daria the other day.
Oh, sure.
I was a Daria fan. I was thinking that because I was a Beavis and Butthead fan. I was probably watching it a little too young. I would sneak off and flip
Right.
through the channels. But our Megatron on Cyberverse was a couple characters on Daria.
Oh, get at it.
Timothy. Oh God, what's the character's name? I'm gonna forget now. the one who always wore the football outfit,
Okay.
the yellow football outfit all the time. Anyway, I was really impressed when I found that out. I was like, oh my gosh,
Right.
like I worked with these people that I had, no idea up until after it was released.
Well, now that you've done this, and you're working with people, and like you said, you're working with people who are themselves kind of veterans of the industry. Do you see, in terms of your future dream gigs, do you see yourself leaning more towards now voice acting, or are still pursuing live action?
Definitely still pursuing anything
Okay,
and everything.
smart man.
But I would love, I mean, it's really where a lot of my heart is with animation and voiceover for
Mhm.
sure now. I think especially because I have those cartoon and comic book roots. Um,
Uh,
yeah,
uh,
it's been a real treat to do it. So yeah, I would love to do a lot more for sure.
are there any kind of upcoming projects or things that are currently on that you would consider to be a dream gig, like you would really love to be a part of?
Wow.
Would you like to be on The Simpsons?
Oh, of course. Of
Hmm.
course. I mean, gosh, yeah. Uh what's I really am a huge fan of the Harley Quinn animated series.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who I would play, but I would do anything on that show. Um
And
God,
how about any of the comic books that you read or as a child or still reading? Can you picture yourself? What if they adapted one of those into a animated series? Which one would you pick? No
I
pressure.
would yeah, no pressure. No,
Right.
I've thought about it a bit, and it's so. I mean, we live in we are totally spoiled as comic book fans because we have
Mhm.
so many adaptations, and so when I think about this, I'm like, oh, okay, well, that character's already represented. That
Right.
character's already represented. So, I gotta, But
True. That's
I
true.
would, I was a huge, in addition to being a big Thor fan, as you could maybe
Nice.
tell here, I was also a big Spider-Man fan. I think we've already got some great spider people in a lot of adaptations. I don't know if maybe I'm sure they're probably already doing it in Across the Spider-Verse, but
Mm.
I think a Ben Riley would be fun, the
Oh,
Spider-Man
yeah.
clone. I don't think we've seen that. Well, maybe in the '90s series, which I was also a huge fan of, by the way. I love
Good
that
call.
Spider-Man series. But I don't know, something like that I think could be kind of interesting. I could kind of fit in somewhere. I don't know, a Spider-Man variant of some sort. Um, I think I could fit in. I could somewhere in the Flash world, a Flash,
Mm.
a Barry, or
Yes.
and I have been thinking about this recently because I saw there was a Transformers fan account that said that the original hot rod, the G1 hot rod, the Judd Nelson hot rod, was based off of Guy Gardner.
Oh wow. Oh
Yeah,
sure. Sure. Yeah.
yeah. So
Right.
I was like,
Yeah.
ooh,
Yeah.
that would be fun to do.
Cocky, arrogant.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would like to take
Oh.
to give that a try.
Well,
So
now
yeah,
you spoil me because now that's all I'm picturing is your voice coming out of Guy Gardner's mouth, and I think that would be spectacular. I think that would be awesome. You
if
would
any
nail
casting directors are listening,
it. There he is.
I'm
There's your
here.
man. There's your Guy Gardner right there.
Yeah. I'll dye my hair red.
And yeah, right, right.
Just for the voice, just for the voice.
And so you talked about connecting with fans at cons, and we're going to see you at TFCon in
Yeah.
March. Uh, how has social media, in particular, you have a stellar TikTok account that's just so much fun.
Thank you.
It really does give us a glimpse into uh, how jovial your personality is and how fun you are. Yeah, you having a fun time with the TikTok? You meet a lot of nice people through that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of great fans and a lot of really fantastic Transformers creators.
Okay.
People so fantastic artists and people just making musings about Transformers and analyzing the different properties, people with who write fan fiction. Um, so you know, in some way, yes, it's interacting with fans, but also interacting with just creators
Right.
themselves in their own right. It's really inspiring, and it's great to collaborate with those people.
Oh, that's yeah, oh, that's cool. I'm glad you're doing that. That is absolutely. I agree with you. One of the best parts about this is uh, not just putting the content out, but getting that response back,
Yeah.
interacting with people who are as passionate about it as you are. So that's really cool, and it's really clear that you're passionate about what you do. It is so cool that people are going to get a chance to meet you at TFCon in Los Angeles on March 10th through the 12th. You're going to be there all 3 days.
I'm going to be there on the 11th and the 12th.
11th and the 12th. So
Yes.
so fans in Los Angeles, Mr. Artz, Mr. Travis Artz is going to be making his way to you at TFCon and on March 11th and 12th. So if you are interested in meeting him, and of course, if you live in the New York City area, as spring and summer roll around, hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more of Baby Chemist.
That's right.
And we could follow news about where you're going to be on your social media accounts. I'm going to put all those in the link at Travis Artz, generally on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
And TravisArtz.com.
TravisArtz.com, and I'm at TravArtz on TikTok and Instagram. TravArtz.
Someone took the name Travis Artz. Huh?
I just thought it was, it was a little catchier,
Gotcha. But that's really cool. And Travis, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. This has been Cosmic Comic Nation, and I've been blessed that I've had Travis Artz as a guest, and I look forward to seeing more from you and hearing more from Baby Chemist in the future. Well,
thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Be well, everybody. Good night.